Hello YouTube, hello my friends, it's Atticus and I hope everybody's well. I am back with you with the Oliphants. So yeah, we're doing a Lord of the Ring charge here, but now guys, I just want to say welcome to all the new subscribers that I've gotten since the last couple of days. We're almost to 200 subscribers, so that's so cool. So excited. Welcome to my channel. I am a Dark Elf main. That is the majority of videos that I'll do on this channel, but I do try to play some other races as well, because hey, the best way to learn how to beat them is playing them. So yeah, since Skaven and Lizards are getting ready to get their DLC, I'm going to feature a lot of, Skaven and Lizard games up until then, so we could just kind of remember what they were like before they got their Residence Renown and before they got their new units. So, this is history, guys. So this is such a cool game right here. Norsca versus Lizardmen's already a really thematic battle, and this map is just absolutely gorgeous. So this one's just really cool. This is a personal favorite of mine. So let's jump into it, guys. So leading the charge for Norsca, we have the king right here, the Wanderer. We have Wolfric the Wanderer on top of his Mammoth. So I don't really take the Mammoth a lot just because it's such an expensive thing, but I do feel like bringing it will actually throw your opponent off guard, because most people just don't expect you to do it, especially in the Lizard matchup, who have some really great anti-large options. So I figured maybe he would he would overcompensate for like infantry and allow my Mammoth just to actually just storm through his lines. And you can see these guys has 525 weapon strength, and this has a lot of mass, so it's going to do really good at Saurus and things like that. For my front line, guys, we just have a bunch of Marauders and some Marauder Spearmen. So yeah, we're just going really cheap here. I need these guys to hold. I need these guys to take the hits of any Temple Guard and things like that, and yeah, I'll let my Mammoth and my Trolls do the real killing. Here in the back line for my armor piercing, and what's really going to be doing a lot of my damage is 3 units of Norscan Trolls, guys. And these guys have really bad leadership, and against an army with a lot of terror like the Lizardmen, it might not seem like the best pick, but in my opinion, it can be. I mean, they regenerate, which is a really good advantage to have, and these guys are just such a good answer to the Saurus. So they get their charge off, they'll actually just crush through them. We also have a unit of spears here in the back, so these guys are like my anti-large right here. And also, guys, we do have a Norscan Ice Wolf Chariot, so these guys will just obviously shred through Saurus and Skinks alike, and they can also do some really good damage against Temple Guard who aren't braced. You can see we also have a unit of Skin Wolves, and I went all the way up to Silver Chevron, and yeah, these guys are going to be my answer to any Norscan cat, or excuse me, Lizardman cab that he might try to bring. So, and you can see he did bring some. He does have some horn ones. We also have a unit of throwing axes, so these are going to be dealing with any Saurus or any horn ones and things like that. But the real anti-large potential that I have in my army right here, guys, is the Mauls of Savagery, so the armor-piercing Skin Wolves, and these guys are just so fun. And you can see I also, supporting them, had the Beast of Tashnar, so this is a really big investment. I mean, it's really risky against Lizardmen because they can do a lot of fire damage. You can see my opponent has brought in Bastiladons with solar engines, so yeah, it can backfire, but the Vanguard, having them in the back right there might pay off for me. So that's my build. For my opponent, guys, he did bring Lord Mazdamundi, so yeah, obviously, he needs no introduction. He just has so much damage potential. You can see he has Net, Curse of the Midnight Wind, and Apotheosis, and then he brought the Ruination of Cities and Banishment. So yeah, he's going to be doing a crap load of damage. Also, he has 2 units of Bastiladon and Solar Engines. So yeah, this is such a good pick against Norsca, because these guys do fire damage, and anything with regeneration or anything ice will take extra damage. So if he decides to shoot my Skin Wolves, it's going to shred those guys. For his front line, though, he had to go cheap, though. He he had to what's the word I'm looking for? He had to make an exception, or what I'm trying to say, for to get all these dinos and powerful units. So he had to go cheap on his front line, and we have some Skinks. We have Skinks, pretty much just all Skinks. Some ones that throw, and some that are just combat. But he does have a secondary line of just Feral Bastiladon. So it's really interesting, kind of having those guys. These guys will hopefully block or take the initial charges and allow these guys to do the armor piercing. But he does have some meat in his army. He does have 2 units of Temple Guard, and these guys are going to be really, really a threat to my Mammoths, to my Skin Wolves and things like that. So I just have to really try to melt them with the throwing axes and try to just dance around them and do as much damage as I can. So that's the builds. This is a really cool game. Let's get into it, guys. So right off the bat, as Bill Clinton once said, I don't know why I said that. Yeah, my opponent is wisely going to see that I have some units here in Vanguard. He's going to pull away. I was hoping to get a really good pick, but you can see he's going to open up, guys, with the solar engine, and look how much damage it does to that. One volley to the skin wolves. So yeah, it's such a it's such an easy counter to Norskins by bringing some of those. And you can see I am trying to run away, but eventually I will pull back into these trees for cover. You see, I'm just going to be really aggressive. I'm just going to start pulling my army forward. There's no sense of playing coy with him. He does have the range advantage, so we're going to start just moving up here, and we're going to try to force a mistake out of him. You can see I'm running all my units back into the trees right here. I'm going to have to be patient because there's not really anything that I could do. If I try committing to these horned ones, he'll come supporting with the tomb guard. So I am seeing that my opponent's not paying attention, though, or I took a gamble, so I figured I'm going to get a free charge into these skink cohorts. But he's going to get a shot with the Bastillodon solar engine, but it didn't do as much damage as it did to the skin wolves. But look at that charge, guys. Almost half health, just absolutely just shredded through those skinks. You can see we're doing a lot of damage even on the exit, so that was definitely worth it. You can see he is trying to get some of his horned ones to counter it, but yeah. Over here, guys, you can see I have my skin wolves, my beast of Tashnar, and everything just being really patient. We're just trying to find an opening, but yeah, he's playing really defensive with these tomb guard right here, or excuse me, with these temple guards. So I'm figuring, all right, I'm just going to have to wait till the front lines actually collide. You can see, speaking of colliding, the front lines now are getting ready to hit, and yeah, this is going to be a mosh pit. We're having to kind of fight at an angle, but he doesn't really have a lot of powerful, front line. He has all these shaft units who are actually going to get shredded by my mammoth and trolls and things like that. So over here you can see that my opponent is trying to get my horned ones, but I'm having the throwing axes just shooting into the back here. And you can see I'm just trying to, I'm really trying to catch those guys out of position. And all my skin wolves and the beasts of Tashnars are just chasing after them. But yeah, this is Bastillodon solar engines are just doing so much damage. And there you go, guys. We do get the horned ones caught out of position. So we are going to be able to get these guys or do a little bit of damage. But yeah, Temple Guard, unfortunately, are really slow. Over here, though, guys, we actually just shredded through the skinks like we knew we would. And yeah, so now we're just going to absolutely just, collide into his army. You can see he does have these Temple Guard here, so if my trolls try to fight these guys, it's not going to, spell too good for them. Over here, his two Bastillodons are fighting amongst my spears and my trolls, and yeah, we're going to win that engagement, guys. Same with over here, you can see that we're just trying our best just to, crush to his front line. Over here, the beasts of Tashnar are going to get cut out of position, so yeah, they were fighting these Horden ones without the support of my skin wolves, and yeah, the two Temple Guard are going to catch these guys out of position. And one of the bad things about being on this small map is there's not really much room for my skin wolves to work on, and every time that they're just running around not doing anything, they're getting shot by these damn Bastillodons of solar engines. You can see we are going to get into this one. These guys don't have these ones do have good armor piercing, but these ones right here won't. So it's going to do a little bit of damage, but not as much as we would hope. Over here, though, guys, you can see these Temple Guard are fighting amongst trolls. We got all my Marauders. We got Wolfric the Wanderer, and we are going to break these guys. So we're going to finally get an opening into his back line, and this is what we need to do to be able to get into Lord Mazdamandi. Over here, guys, you can see that these Temple Guard are colliding onto my skin wolves, and my opponent does use a Curse in the Midnight Wind and the Net of Amatoch, so he overcasted it to give it a radius, and he catches both of my skin wolves with that net, so that is really devastating for me. So all of a sudden I just lost pretty much my main anti-large troops, but you can see that I am using my Marauders with throwing axes to shoot these Temple Guard into the back, because these guys are the biggest threat to my army right now. And you can see, when they're not facing me, they're going to get hit. They're going to do a little bit of damage, but yeah, I did lose my skin wolves. I was able to pull the Mauls of Savagery away once the net did break, and that's that at least will give me some bit of hope late in the late game. You can see we are colliding into this Bastillodon solar engine. We're just trying to shut those guys down because yeah, they're just countering my Norscan or my skin wolves. And over here, guys, you can see that my ice wolves are going to hit these horned ones, so I'm going to get the frostbite on those guys, which is going to allow them to slow down. They're not going to be as powerful, but my opponent is going to use the shield of the old ones, which is going to give them a little bit of damage resistance. So that's a really good casting of that spell. Over here, you can see that we have broken the two Feral Bastillodons, which is going to allow me to reinforce the main fight here, guys. And you can see that my opponent has these Temple Guard, but I have some troops now that can hold those guys and keep him from reinforcing the army. Balance of power is just smack dab in the middle, guys. And you can see my opponent uses another Curse of the Midnight Wind, just lowering the armor, making the melee attack drop on my troops. And yeah, it's pretty good. My opponent does need some more troops here to try to reinforce these Horden ones, because yeah, out of position here, all by themselves, isolated, they're going to get shredded. And you can see these Feral Bastillodons now, Bastillodons are getting forced to fight in melee. So this is not how you want to play them. Over here, you can see that I'm using my spear units just to hold up these Temple Guard, and this is what you have to do. You have to isolate his anti-large units, and that will allow me to focus his Lord and things like that. And you can see Wolfric is out for blood. He's going to start chasing after Lord Mazdamandi. I am going to use the Hunter of Champions. I was just trying to slow him down, figuring I could get a really good charge in. But yeah, Lord Mazdamandi is going to return in kind with a Ruination of Cities and this big glob of units that I have right here. Balance power, guys, is a little bit in my favor. You can see that he does have 1 unit of Temple Guard holding up 3 units of my Marauders, so that's really good value for him. Over here you can see that some of my Mauls of Savagery are fighting against the Pharaoh Bastiladon, and this is really good for me. These guys are regenerating, they're anti-large, and they're going to be able to close those guys down. You can see Wolfric the Wanderer does get a charge into these Temple Guard, but he does have this really, scary pocket of anti-large. Luckily, I do have some throwing axes. They've used all their ammunition, but I'm going to be able to get some rear charges on those guys as well. And you can see he's just trying to chase my Lord. Luckily, Wolfric has so much HP, he's not going to be able to melt him really quickly. And I'm just sitting everything I have. I'm just trying to just totally collapse in on him and just wear him down through attrition. You can see Wolfric is just, mauling the hell out of Lord Mazdamandi, who is going to use the Shield of the Old One. Just trying to give a little bit of damage resistance. And you can see I'm going to proc Fight or Die, which is giving melee attack to my whole army. And yeah, now we're getting a complete surround on his Temple Guard. And these guys are going to get attacked from rear. They're going to lose their leadership, and that's going to really buy me some time. You see Wolfric is going to get a really good hit in the Lord Mazdamandi, but he's getting ready to cast a spell. He gets a brutal banishment off, and yeah, that really is painful to watch. But yeah, Mazdamandi and the Slann are having a battle to the death. You can see that he's wisely trying to run away. And yeah, we've finally broken his Temple Guard as well. So this is going to allow me just to send everything I have trying to kill that Dino Slann. Over here, though, guys, he does have a scary pocket of Tomb Guard and Horn Ones. He had 1 unit of Horn Ones that were in reserve. They were hiding in the woods, so I didn't know about those guys. And he saved them for the late game, so that could be game-changing if he plays them pretty wisely. But I'm going to send my Skinwolves, guys. I mean, luckily Skinwolves do have... Slow it down here for a second. Luckily, Skinwolves do have regeneration, so they've just been healing themselves. And yeah, so hopefully they'll buy me enough time. And you can see my Norsca trolls here. Their leadership is getting ready to break. I really need to keep this pocket right here from getting to his Lord. If he could try to get his Lord into that right there, he might have a chance. Over here, you can see that we've dealt with these Temple Guard. So now I have my own little scary Death Star right here, and we're just going to collide. So this is going to be the final battle where the fate of the Icelands will be decided. You can see that Wolfric the Wanderer is absolutely just shredding through Lord Mazdamandi, though, on his big Mammoth. I mean, there's a direct hit. Mazdamandi is like, oh, hell no, I got to get out of here. So, yeah, we have a final battle, guys. We got the Horned Ones fighting amongst trolls. We got some werewolves fighting in there for good effect. And, yeah, we got a Bastiladon Solar Engine also in combat. But ideally, he wants to pull him back and start trying to use some of that ammunition. Even though he only has, like, 1 volley left of his shot. If you look right here, guys, he's down to, just 1 more shot. So I guess he doesn't have a choice. But now you can see that Trolls and Wolfric are going to get on the Lord Mazdamandi. I'm going to use Hunter of Champions, which is just lowering his defense, lowering his speed, and this is going to really allow me just to do that damage and keep him from, getting into the glob of his troops. He does have some Temple Guard who have came back. These guys just refuse to die. It's really annoying to have to fight against. But Temple Guard, I mean, hey, they earn their name, and you really get for what you pay for. But yeah, at this point, guys, it's looking really good for us. You can see he's going to get another Shield of the Old One, but Wolfric is just really heavily on his tails, getting a nice rear charge into him. And yeah, it's not looking too good for the Lizards. So, my opponent does have a few units coming back from routing. He has a Pharaoh Bastiladon fighting amongst some spears. He has some Temple Guard, but I just don't know if it's going to be, if he could get there in time. You can see he's going to get a brutal charge in with these Horde ones. They're going to actually destroy through those Marauders. And he's doing really good about trying to keep his Lord mobile, allowing me, his Solar Engine and things like that to do the damage. But we're finally going to be able to break them. You can see my Ice Wolves are also giving their Frostbite. Every time they attack a unit, they're slowing them down. And, yeah, so, I mean, it's looking good for us, guys. The balance of power is really strongly in my favor, and at this point, I don't think my opponent's going to be able to come back. You can see I have my Mauls of Savagery coming back, and we are going to kill the Slann. So that's going to be a huge victory for the Norskins. We're going to kill the Lizard, and now all that remains is a few Horned Ones and a Bastiladon. So all my troops are going to converge on, and yeah, his army is going to rout, so he's going to get hit with army losses. So that was a cool game. That was really thematic. Let's go ahead and look at the in-screen breakdown and talk about some of the keys for my success. And obviously, guys, yeah, I mean, one of the big keys was Wolfric on that Mammoth. He was actually able to just shred through all these skinks and things like that. The Trolls as well. We didn't get a lot of value out of my Werewolves. I mean, he countered them pretty good with these Solar Engines, but, they were able to deal with the horn ones. Once they did regenerate, they were able to do a little bit. But yeah, 18 and 5 is not a lot of kills for the money that I did pay. Luckily, the throwing axes were able to shoot into the back of these temple guard. They really bought me some time. And the Ice Wolf Chariot did really good. I mean, it gave the frostbite. It slowed him down so he couldn't charge me and things like that. Lord Mazdamani was a beast in this game. He had really good banishment. He had really good ruination of cities. He was really on top of his nets. You remember when he netted both my skin wolves? So yeah, I mean, it could have went either way. So good game to Pancha, and this is Atticus, and I will see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed that one. All right, guys, see you later.